What's going on, YouTube? Progression over perfection here. But we don't strive to be perfect. We just strive to progress every day in every way imaginable. I'm on my way right now. As you can see by the title of this video, this is I'm about to have a procedure done. Nothing too major. Endoscopy and a colonoscopy at the ripe age of 38 years old. There's some nothing major, but some health concerns and some blood work that I've been getting done. Again, just trying to find the root cause to a few things that have been lingering. Gut issues, blood count, so on and so forth. But I'm not worried. I'm in Jehovah's hands, so you know, we just taking it one day at a time. But to make the long story short, I have been prepping for the past actually week, because they said 7 days before the procedure. 7 days before the procedure, you're really supposed to stop taking blood thinners and things like that, which I don't take blood thinners, so I didn't have to worry about that particular part. But then 3 days before the procedure, I had to cut out things like nuts, seeds, anything with dyes in it. This is also an informative video for anybody who comes across it who has yet to have a colonoscopy. My wife has not had a colonoscopy as of yet. Again, the only reason why I'm having one prematurely is because they want to do some further testing and find the root cause to a few things that's been going on with me lately. But all that aside, this is like an informational video for my fellas, for my ladies. Anybody who comes across this video who has yet to have a colonoscopy, you'll know exactly what to expect. Now, my situation is a little bit different because I'm having two procedures done at one time, which is an endoscopy, where they take a camera or a camera scope, and they go down my throat, you know, and I ain't pausing nothing because I'm straight as hell, straight as an arrow. Now, let me stop. But they take a scope and they go down my throat into my stomach canal and look around, see what they can find, you know, make sure ain't no blood there or whatnot. And the colonoscopy is basically to search for any polyps, I think any bleeding as well. They go through the butt.
Well, your anus.
Through the anus.
To be precise.
Politically correct, yeah. So, make the long story short, again, informational video. I'm having two procedures done at once. The endoscopy, fun fact, I actually already had it done before, back in like 2011 or 2010. It was basically, that's how they found out that I had gastritis, a slight or minor case of gastritis. So now, again, I'm gonna be fast forward to 2026. Today, I'm having another endoscopy done, and I'm having a colonoscopy done. All right, so I know everything is gonna work out. It's my first time, obviously, having a colonoscopy or getting a colonoscopy done. Real quick, the prep. So 3 days before, real quick, you stop taking certain medication. You can't have no Advil, no Motrin, no Aleve, no ibuprofen. You can only take Tylenol, which came in handy this morning. I actually woke up with a massive headache, and I'll tell y'all about that. But real quick, you know, for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna keep this video as short as I can, and I'm gonna pop it back on after the procedure. Make the long story short, you can't have certain medications and supplements. Do not eat nuts, peanuts, sunflower seeds, fruits, or vegetables with seeds, surprisingly. Seeds will remain in the colon even after the preparation. Do not eat potato chips with olein or olestra. Now again, don't use this as your, you know, you'll get your own paperwork. So don't be going by what I'm saying. It may be totally different for you.
Yeah, it does. It's different paperwork for everybody.
Yeah, do not eat popcorn. Do not eat corn, lentils, quinoa, or beans. So I did all that 3 days before. I just kept it to protein, like chicken and rice. No vegetables, no fruit. But I did have some Oreos and I had some fig Newtons. You know what I'm saying? I definitely had to have my fig Newtons and my Oreos.
What is it? Seeds in the fig Newtons?
I don't know, and I don't care. This is between us. Us here. Y'all and us. Anyway, so the day before the procedure, which was yesterday, Thursday, I had to begin a clear liquid diet all day. No solid foods for the entire day. clear liquids, including water, and these other suggestions. It was like chicken broth, bouillon, apple juice, tea, 7-Up. But it couldn't be nothing again with any dyes. So I almost thought I screwed myself because I wasn't even thinking about it. I keep beetroot juice on hand in the refrigerator. And usually the ritual is in the evening or at night after I eat. It's like something unconscious that I don't even really think much about. And there's benefits to beetroot juice, of course, you know, blood flow, things like that. So I keep it on hand. That's kind of part of my daily diet. But make the long story short, I don't never really pour a cup of it. I just sip. I sip. Everybody know I drink out the beetroot juice jar. So I just sip. And I did that Tuesday. And my cutoff was, no, I did it Tuesday and I did it Wednesday, the day before I was to start the all liquid diet. So make the long story short, I did it like Tuesday. I was just sipping. I think I was like gulping Tuesday night. But then Wednesday, I turned around and I, you know, had my little cookies and shit, you know, and I got to sipping it. I got to sipping it, and I was sitting there like, oh snap, because I had a real good beat on what not to have. I had no nuts, nothing like that, no potato chips, and I was like, oh snap. So I mentioned it to Angelica. I was like, oh snap. I know they say because you can't have no tomato sauce, just things like that will stain the colon, and it will give off a false read. Basically, it'll look like blood when it's just because you drank some fruit punch.
Exactly.
You know,
or they'll cancel it.
Yeah, and because of that, they will cancel your appointment. I won't try to do this again. I want to get this done and out of the way. So make the long story short, I ended up calling the next morning and I told her what I did. She was like, well, have you had anything today? I said, no, just water today. I ain't even had no coffee, just water. Nothing but water. And she was like, no, not even chewing gum, by the way. I wanted to be super safe. And I use it as like a fast anyway, a cleanse, because it's been a while since I actually fasted. I've been eating.
You'd be surprised how much waste is in the body that just piles up in there, and you never just let it out.
Exactly. And she fasts a lot more often than I do here and there. Whenever she gets the
spirit hits me.
Whenever she gets the call to do it. Make the long story short though, I called and she said, oh, okay, it seemed to be fast. She was like, well, was it a lot? No, she didn't even ask was it a lot. I said, I want no cup or nothing like that. I literally was just sipping. I sipped it. And she was like, okay, no, I think you'll be fine after the cleanse. And boy, I do believe her. I think I'm fine. Because let me tell y'all, fast forward to yesterday or the day that I called, Thursday, it was just straight liquid. And I'm still on, no, actually I'm not on anything now. The way that they have it is I had two, but I guess it was because of the endoscopy and colonoscopy. I don't know I think your mom, when she did hers, she said she only did one. Okay. So I think mine was like for both.
Yeah.
To double clean me out.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, I'm clean to the bone because you take the solution, you pour it into a 16-ounce cup, and then you know, it only comes up to like maybe 6, right. I think. Yeah, 6 ounces. So. And then you fill the rest with cool water. And you got to drink it within an hour along with 2 16-ounce cups of water, 2 more 16-ounce cups of just straight water. So I did that yesterday. Tried to walk to the mailbox. Angelica was like, yeah, me, her, and Xavier, like, let's go to the mailbox. So I walk with her to the mailbox. I'm talking to my mom, and mom was like, all right now, you better clench them butt cheeks. You know, don't go too far, you know, because you might end up having it. I'm telling you, it creep up on you. And, you know, I'm sitting there like, I think I'll be fine. Soon as I said that, like a couple seconds later, I felt, you know, that feeling. I was like, oh snap. I still was actually able to manage to get to the mailbox. I said, I'm gonna at least get to the mailbox. Got to the mailbox, but when I got back from, like, I started drinking that at 7 p.m. from like, what, 8:30? It took like a little while for it to really, and I was making sure I was sure that I had to really go to the bed. Oh, the party started about around 8:30, 8:45. All the way to like midnight. I can't even count how many times I went to. Angelica said it was like 7 times. I know it. Because she was already asleep. She was dozing off. I went like 2 more times before I actually dozed off and went to sleep. And then I woke up so let me hip y'all. At least in my situation, they say I could just do water. You know, or they said water and then it gave other suggestions. The trick to it, or not really trick, but you want to make sure you get some electrolytes in you too, because you are pooping just like when you're sick. you know, and they talk about Pedialyte and things like that. You need to replenish your electrolyte balance. Your electrolyte balance is essentially off because it's a lot of waste and fluid. You just, as soon as you're drinking it, it's pretty much going right back out. And I'm talking about clean. It was like straight water, you know, not to be too graphic or share too much information, but straight water, man, like at will. So make the long story short, what?
I was gonna say, I do that to just off GP myself once a year.
Right.
Because we need to get all of that out of our
We don't realize how much waste, like she said, we have in our body, and how often we're eating around the clock.
Yeah.
You know, snacking, having meals. Especially with me, I be trying to get my protein. I eat jerky like every day. You know what I'm saying? Like at least 2 to 3 servings of jerky a day with the sodium and all that. But aside from the sodium, you know, just meat. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to expel it at some point, fully expel it. But make the long story short, make sure, you know, here and there you do. I was trying to be by the book, and I was trying to really do a serious cleanse. But future-wise, because I will technically have to do this again in my 40s or maybe my early 50s, I will definitely be adding some LMNT or some salt or something like that to kind of replenish my electrolyte balance. Because I woke up this morning, well, actually, even before I went to bed, I started having a headache. And then when I woke up this morning, I had a full-blown headache.
Then you didn't have
I felt
any,
lethargic.
When I do my cleanses or whatnot too, I will have mineral water, or I know a lot of people will use distilled water. Those help as well with the water and everything going through your colon and whatnot.
Okay, Doc. All right.
No.
But no.
Like, don't take my advice. I'm just saying.
No, I'm sharing with you my personal experience, and it's not over because I'm on my way to the procedure. But to make the long story short, I will definitely add electrolytes somewhere in the mix in the future. I say all that to say that Angelica, she called the doctor just to be sure and double check.
Because you had the headache this morning.
Yeah, because I had the headache and I felt real sluggish and lethargic. I was like, dang, I know I'm fasting, but why do I feel like this? And it was because I was low on the Angelica was like, you need some LMNT. She was like, dang, your stomach, and my stomach was hurting. Like, I think just all that. It hasn't been a pleasant experience.
I know people don't like it.
It ain't kill me. It ain't killing me. You know what I'm saying?
People
but it's not
like
pleasant.
The colonoscopy process, the beginning process, but
But the whole thing of it was too. The other thing was I had to start the second dose 8 a.m. this morning because it had to be 5 hours before my procedure. My procedure is at 1 o'clock, which we're running a little behind, but we almost there. Actually, we're about to pull up in there, but it was supposed to be at 1 o'clock, so I had to start drinking the second solution, which I was over. But when I started drinking this particular one, I was like, oh my God. And it won't nasty, by the way. It tastes like it tastes like it was great. Had a great hint to it, like my mom said. I'm sure they have
salty.
Yeah, but salty, very salty. But I'm sure they've been
almost like a saltwater flush.
Exactly. I'm sure they've been doing a lot of finagling with the flavor. I'm sure I can only imagine what it was like 10 years ago or 20 years ago or even longer ago.
Why are they trying to take me to this way? I'm going this way.
Yeah, but all that aside, I had to be done. I couldn't have nothing past 10. So 10 o'clock was a cutoff. So I mixed the solution like I did before, barely drank the 2 16-ounce cups of water within an hour. And then I started going even faster this time because I ain't had nothing in my stomach. You know what I'm saying? And it was not pleasant. But make long story short, had the LMNT. That brought me back a little bit. I ain't had nothing since 10 o'clock, and it is now 12:40. 12:40. I was supposed to be here at 12:30, but my procedure is at 1 o'clock. So make the long story short, we're here now. We're here now. About to part. And I'm about to go get this procedure done. They're gonna put me out like a light. Kind of reminiscent of when I had the hammer toe correction. I've been put out in 1 year. Is that 1 year? No, last year. That was last year. I'm getting put out once every year. Hopefully no more. All right, y'all. We gotta run. I will turn this camera back on after the procedure. Wish me luck. Nah, just pray for me. Peace. Filling out this paperwork.
paperwork. I do. No, stop. She feels it over me sometimes. But yeah, just filling out some paperwork. I don't know how much. Probably not gonna get to show anything. I'm trying to be real quiet, you know. Doctor's offices are like libraries. Gotta be real quiet. I'm gonna get this paperwork filled out. I'll let y'all.
Alright, the procedure is over. The procedure is over. Everything went well. I'm not gonna go over, it's not really a diagnosis, but there was nothing major. You know, it's just some things that we gotta follow back up on. You know, I'll leave it there. I'm sharing enough. Alright. But just like with the hammer toe correction, man, this stuff was strong. This anesthesia that they put me on this time.
It's just different because you ain't got nothing.
Oh yeah, Angelica mentioned this because I've been fasting. But man, like it hit me quick. I was out. I know that was a record. I know I belong in the Guinness Book of World Records. Whatever it is, that anesthesia that they use. And I felt like I was out in 0.2 seconds. It felt very fast. But make the long story short, y'all, because as you can see, I'm still groggy. I'm under the influence. They told me not to operate no heavy machinery.
Yep.
They told me don't work out, no equipment, nothing until tomorrow. They said I can resume my normal activities tomorrow, which I will. Yeah, so make the long story short, all went well. I was in and out.
Thank you, Lord.
It literally, they said a whole procedure. How long did it feel like it took?
You know what? Because I was texting Auntie and calling Dad, the nurse, and messaging in my group chat and stuff. It didn't feel like it was long at all. So I'm gonna say maybe it was literally 90 minutes, like they said.
Well, they said 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will meet. Well, real quick, brief synopsis. They, I filled out my paperwork as y'all saw, and then they took me back. She asked me the right question. She said, "You have to use the bathroom? You think you have to use the bathroom?" I said, "You know what? Yeah." Because I told y'all this solution has had me, I don't know how many bathroom trips I've taken. So, word to the wise, you will be on the toilet. The toilet will be your best friend. You know, nothing too discomforting, but it will be your best friend. What was I gonna say about that? So I went to the bathroom, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm fine." That was liquid, and it wasn't urine. But no, anyway, TMI. And then she just was about, as I was finishing up, she was just about to knock on the door when I opened the door. She said, "I was about to come check on you," because I know she was like, and then she took me to the bed. I sat on the bed. She went over all the preliminary stuff. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, I know, because they got a roll. She was like, "Yeah, because you're supposed to be in your procedure like right now." So sign, and I read over some paperwork. And then, dang, they moved really fast.
Yeah.
Like this procedure was really fast.
Yeah.
It was hardly any prep. I mean, except for the prep I did at home. But told me to get out my clothes. Said, but to the
to the wall.
gurney. Yeah. Anyway, all went well. It was a very fast procedure. And like I said, I've had an endoscopy done before, and they told me, they pre-warned me that I may wake up coughing. I did that first time. I remember back then.
Yeah.
I woke up like,
and you had all your clothes on.
yeah, right? I just know, I hope, I ain't gonna say I hope, I pray everything just balances out. I will be so grateful, abundantly grateful to Jehovah if everything just balances out and it's just, you know, something minor, or just, I don't know.
It already is.
Yeah, because I'm over it. I'm a healthy. I know
good.
in my heart of hearts I'm a healthy. And y'all see the channel. I work out. I take care of myself.
I keep getting these.
I take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like all should be well. But make the long story short, all went well.
Yes.
I'm groggy. I got, like I told you, I got bone broth that I was gonna have after the procedure. I'm gonna save that for another day. But I'm gonna go on here. I'm eating, so we on our way to go eat. I'm not I can't have no fried foods. They said my first meal, especially if it's a large meal, might cause excess gas. The woman told me because they went through both ends that I may be burping a little more today, and I may be passing gas a little bit more frequently today. But I feel great right now, you know. And let me just tell y'all this: the first thing, you know, if you've never had anesthesia, it's like autopilot, and I really feel like it shows you to yourself, like as far as the first things you say, how you treat people, all the above. The first things I started talking about was Jesus. I had advice for the nurse.
Wow.
That's why I wish you was back there, because you did a good job last time telling me what I said.
Yeah.
But it's like I vaguely remember, but I was like, yeah, whatever God or Jesus has you doing, continue to do it. You know, this is a message. You know, that's why I told her, like. And then she told me, you know, okay, like she said she was smiling or whatever, and she was like, okay, well, go ahead and get dressed, Mr. Goolsby, and all that. And they always so nice. The people I've had, I'm blessed to have nice doctors, nurses, all the above, you know. But she was like, go ahead and get dressed or whatnot, and you know, and let us know if you need anything. And gave me some ginger ale, which I still got right here. I'm sipping on me some ginger ale. That ginger ale be hitting like none other. I be like, what kind of ginger ale? Which is this Seagram's? Whether it's Seagram's or Canada Dry, I'm a Seagram's guy, but this Canada Dry, whatever, I don't know which one it is, which brand it is, but it be hitting. Sure, it could be Mountain Lion for all I care. But yeah. So I was like, yeah, giving her advice, giving her like a message from God. And then you know, she told me to get dressed or whatnot. Got dressed, and it, by the way, I almost stumbled like 3. I could not get my clothes on. That is the weirdest thing when you used to doing something.
The last time when I was actually able to help you, that you leaned on me to help you put your clothes on. So that's good that you was able to put your clothes on.
Yeah, I know I leaned on. That's what she was like. I was like, where's Angelica? Because the first thing I asked, I said, what I say I told you?
You said, where's my wife?
Oh yeah, I said, where's my wife? She's like, oh, she's back there. I said, can she come back here? She was like, well, we have other patients back here, but we'll get you wheeled out. Yeah, we'll get you out there. Yeah. I was like, okay, all right. But make the long story short, I had a message for the woman. And then when she put me when I finally got dressed and she put me in a wheelchair and we was in the elevator, we started talking about, I said, what did I say anything to you in reference to Jesus or God? Oh yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah, and she was like, yeah, you sure did. I said, what did I say? She said, to keep going, you know, and a little bit more, something else she said. I'm groggy, I'm telling you. Like, it'll make more sense later, I guess, or not. But I was like, okay, great. And then she said, and when you woke up, you say you woke up like Jesus. I was like, what? I said, well, I'm clearly no Jesus. And then she was like, I said, Lord, blasphemy. And then she was like, no, you're fine. And then I said, well, he did wake up in 3 days, even though it ain't been 3 days. That was the first thing that popped into my head. So, well, he woke up, he arose in 3 days. And then she was like, yeah, I've really been working on growing my relationship. I said, maybe it's because too with me, to your point, I've been working on, you know, like reading my Bible and get more acquainted with God, just growing my relationship as well. And yeah, she was like, yeah, but no, thank you for that. And then when she got me to Angelica can attest to that, when she finally got me to the car and I was getting in, we also talked about parenthood a little bit, but when she got me into the car, I forgot. I said something. I said, oh, well, whatever that message was, that was a message for you.
It wasn't from me.
Yeah, it wasn't from me. It wasn't from me.
Oh, I got chills.
Yeah.
I got chills. So I will take it to heart.
Yeah, so that's what's up, man. I pray that this video found y'all well. I pray you enjoyed sharing in my journey, partaking in my endoscopy, colonoscopy. Of course, I couldn't show the actual procedure or anything. You wouldn't have wanted to see my black ass up in there. But anyway, it's all good. All is well. I had a message too. Oh, if you believe, if you truly believe, and if you're truly on a quest to grow your relationship with Jehovah, realize and have the faith that he always has his hands on you, no matter what situation it is, from the significant to the insignificant, or what seems to be insignificant. His hands is always on you, so do not fret. You know, we are strong, we are capable, we are resilient, and some of it is our doing, things that we've learned and we've cultivated over the years in order to just sustain living in this life. But a lot of it is what Jehovah gave to us before we even came out of our mother's womb. You are more than capable of handling whatever situation it is that you're going through, whether it's work, whether it's relationship, whether it's mental health. You know, we shall overcome, as Martin Luther King said. So take that to heart, keep that in mind. You got any last words?
To piggyback off what you're saying, there was a quote or something that I read that said that you're already the strongest person, you yourself, because you beat out millions of other sperm to get to that egg.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's very true.
You already conquered one thing already. Like,
and it means that your journey is preordained. You're meant to be here for a reason. Yes. Even if it don't feel like it. Trust me, I'm human. Angelica's human. Yes. We all question our existence, why we're here, are we making an impact, you know, all the above. Are we worthy of God's grace, of God's mercy, of God's hand on our life, his direction? And we got to know that we are. Trust me.
It's written. That's been my thing that I've been saying. It's in the Bible that he's always with us. I will never leave you nor forsake you.
That's right.
You are strong. Be strong and courageous. Yeah. Be very strong and courageous.
Right.
Those are the things that I always, you know, keep with me.
And like they say, and like I've learned from her, amongst her many rhetorics or the things that she tell me, you know, God, Jehovah God, doesn't leave us, we leave him. So our quest, our conquest in life should always be to get back to him, get back to square one. Because outside of our health, which he gives us, or if we, you know, if our health is damaged, he redeems it just like he redeems us, ourselves. You know, that's the point I'm making about that.
I would say, I think you're trying to say that just have faith.
That we need him.
Oh, okay.
We need our health. We just talked about that the other day. We need our health. The two most important things in life is health and Jehovah. You know, two things
Jehovah
that we need.
First.
Yeah, Jehovah first.
Yeah.
But he gives us that. He gives us our health. Whatever charm, whatever charisma, whatever personality type, perseverance, resilience, just know it's good to pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit, but all the credit honestly goes to Jehovah. And just keep that in mind. And that's easier said than done. And don't think because I'm telling you this right now that I live by that creed all the time. I need to remember that often. And when I wake up out of these slumbers and these anesthesias or whatever, that's always one of the first things that come to my mind. That's why I'm sharing it. So that's it.
This was more than the last time. If you was talking about how you said you woke up like Jesus.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
I believe it's because I'm growing my relationship. And for every, like I mentioned in other videos, for every step you take towards him, he takes 3 or 4 towards you. I got to dig more though. I got to make some changes in my life. You know, it's a constant journey. It's a constant recalibration. You know, We are not perfect, nor will we ever be. We are imperfect. What they say, sin is in our body.
Yes, we were born with sin.
We were born with sin.
We were born into sin.
Yes, we were born into sin.
We were born into sin. But that is also why Jehovah God loved us so much that he sent his son Jesus to die for our sins. So that's all.
I'm gonna leave y'all on that note. I pray that, again, this video found you all well. I pray you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try to get this video out hopefully today, as soon as possible, because I like to, it happened today, so I would rather it happen today, no later than tomorrow. And enjoy, take whatever from this video that you will, of sustenance, of importance. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to tap that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop another video. I'm sorry, y'all. Peace and love, baby. I said peace and love, baby. All right, y'all. That's it. You ain't got to go to church this Sunday. Just look at this video. All right, y'all. Peace and love.